Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
Welcome back to the Mel K Show. We here believe that you have to empower yourself with the tools to navigate the future, and it's going to be a bumpy ride, but you know what? It's your time to shine. So we brought back Clay Clark to talk a little bit about your future, because as we know, the government is in chaos, and the idea of thinking they're going to come to the rescue. No, you have to come to the rescue. And that means you have to invest in yourself. And who better to motivate than the motivator extraordinaire, Clay Clark. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here with you. And I could not be more fired up to look at you, Rob, and to harass you, Mel.
Well, we are very excited because, as you know, I wrote a book called Americans Anonymous, empowering people to take back the country themselves. But I also want to empower people to understand that we are going through a financial restructuring. And on the other side, that they have to determine their own destiny. And in order to do that, they have to invest in themselves. There are small businesses, other small businesses. And maybe if they put something aside or had dreams or hobbies they'd like to turn into a business, now will be the time. So, Clay, let's get into what Thrive Time does and what you are doing. So take the floor. You're the best at this.
Yeah, well, let me pull this up real quick. So first off, this Reawaken tour thing that we did together, I want to resolve this in somebody's mind because, Mel, somebody asked me yesterday, a kind of a pretty big influencer. They called me and they said, hey, Clay, off record, want to know, don't mention my name. I'm just wanting to know, how did you finance the Reawaken tour? And I go, what do you mean? They go, I mean, how did you pay for it? And I go, well, if I were to write a book about it, it'd be called How to Get Poor Fast. So it was a $2 million loss spread out over a period of 4 years with ongoing litigation. I just found out that my wife and I get to have a dream vacation in the great state of Colorado. So we get to sit down and do mediation with people that are still suing the Reawaken tour. So I say that to say people maybe know me on your show from the research I've done on the Reawaken tour and that sort of thing. But how I financed it or paid for it was I have businesses that I run that actually are profitable, that have no connection to saving America. They, we do haircuts, So one of my companies, it's called Elephant in the Room. We do haircuts. Right. That's what we do. So I make money every time that someone gets their haircut. Another business I'm involved in, Papa Gallo's. We sell pizzas to people on the planet Earth. Another thing we do, that's in Florida. Another company called Co-Law Fitness. We sell gym memberships. Another client I work with, and I'm just giving you examples. It's called The Garage. And let me spell it right here, but they have an automotive repair business in Broken Arrow. So if you said, how do I get paid? I'm in the automotive repair, fitness, pizza, hair business. And so that's how I do it. And my passion and my highest desire, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, is to help other entrepreneurs become successful. So what we do is very analogous to, let's say, personal training, but for business. Right. And so I wanted to give people 3 examples of that. So I think when people think about business, Rob, I think some people think about a guy in a suit and a guy looking into business, or some women think about, I got to get a pantsuit if I'm going to be a business owner. I think some people think of super fit people that are on these TikTok videos talking about fitness. I think other people think about, I don't qualify to be successful. But I wanted to give you some examples. This right here is a longtime client of ours. We helped her grow her business by the outstanding 1,462% in 18 months. And how'd she do it? She's a home cleaner. So here we go, folks. I know many of you have had a challenging year. Many of you watching this have a successful company. Many of you have a business that is struggled. Maybe you've had a business that you've just, for whatever reason, have never been able to get over the hump. Maybe you've always been just kind of stuck in a rut, and that's become your normal. Maybe you went from the goal you used to have a goal to thrive, and now your goal is just to survive. Well, to build your faith and to build your encouragement that you have the mental capacity and the tenacity needed to succeed, I thought I would get one of our younger success stories on the Thrive Time show, so you could talk to an entrepreneur who I don't believe is yet 30 years old, but yet is still achieving massive success. Stephanie, welcome on to the Thrive Time show. How are you?
Good, Clay. Thank you.
So, Stephanie, where's home for you?
I live in rural western Wisconsin, so Sparta, Wisconsin.
So you get the idea, Mel. This is a person who is a cleaning service, and how she heard about the show was she was listening to a podcast. And she said she was listening to her podcast. She's cleaning toilets, working for a cleaning company. And it occurs to her, you know what? I should start my own cleaning company. So she went to thrivetimeshow.com. She filled out the form, not really sure of what a free 13-point assessment is, and not really sure how that looks. She did know that we charge $1,700 a month to coach a client on a month-to-month basis down a path. She did know we do the photography and the video and the web and all that. But she was like, I wasn't sure whether I was coming to a conference or I was going to become a client or what that was. But I knew that you'd had success stories, and I wanted to become one. And so she filled out the form. And I think that, Mel, is where a lot of people are at right now. I think a lot of people watching this broadcast right now, you're thinking, I want to be successful, but I don't know if success is for me. So the first teaching principle I want to teach today is success is for you. It is for you. And if you're watching today's show and you're not too old, you're not too young, you're not too big, you're not too small, you're not too white, you're not too black, everybody out there can have success. And I just encourage everyone to take action. So Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, he said, the time will never be just right. You must act now. If you don't like Napoleon Hill, the Bible tells us that this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't like that, go watch Jim Caviezel interviews, where Jim Caviezel talks about the Passion of the Christ and how he and Mel Gibson were trying to figure out when the right time would be to put out this movie that would ultimately offend Hollywood. If you're trying to figure out, well, when am I going to put out my get started? Just know that the time will never be just right, Mel, and you know that better than anybody else. But the time is never going to be right.
You know, it's interesting. Success is if you talk to people that have had success, you know, a lot of it is about, you know, whether it's failure over and over again, but they don't view it as failure. They view it as practice. They view it as and being tenacious. But a big part of that is you can shortcut a lot by understanding, you know, you don't have to recreate the wheel. And one of the things, you know, that I love about what you do, is you've broken down a lot of the concepts of what creates success, because anyone who's been successful knows that there are systems and methods and metrics that if you actually do that,
Right.
that will yield results. And then as long as you got the right coach that's bringing you along, or you have that innate ability personally. And I think a lot of, you know, entrepreneurs and especially, you know, we're looking at a stock market that is crashing. People are feeling, you know, that their wealth is at risk, or other things, you know, it's just a really dynamic time, but they still have maybe their small business, or they've had always these dreams. And I know that you help people to really hone in on how to survive and thrive in great times and tough times.
You are correct, and I want to dive into this. So step number one, folks, listen to what Rob just said and think about step number one. Step number one, the time is never going to be just right. So if you're watching today's show and you're going, is he talking to me? I'm talking to you. Someone says, is he talking to me? Oh, I'm looking at you too. The time will never be just right. And this is interesting or disturbing. I grew up in a home where we didn't have money. My mom and dad, great people. My father, may he rest in peace. We didn't have money. My dad was kind of leery of making the jump. So one of my goals in my 15-year-old mind was, someday I'm going to grow a successful company. I'm going to hire my father. And when I was 25 years old and I did that, I think I was 24 and I did that, it was the highlight for me of being able to call my father, offer him a well-paying job working in my company. And I just encourage everybody out there, you've got to get unstuck. So that's step one. Now, step number two, now that we're saying, okay, I'm going to take an action. What do I do? You got to have a plan. As Rob mentioned, you got to have these best practices or a plan. So this right here is what we call a workflow. It also happens to be the page number 5 of my book called A Millionaire's Guide to Become Sustainably Rich. And if someone says, I'd like to download that for free, please, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources. I've written 37 books, and you can scroll down thrivetimeshow.com/free resources. You'll find it somewhere. There it is. Boom. You can download it for free. And here we go. Page 5. You say, well, why would you give away your book for free? I really do believe we all have different giftings, and this is something I like to do. I love helping people. So even if you don't become a client, here we go. So you got this workflow, and I'm going to zoom in so someone can really follow along. Step number 1, you got to figure out your revenue goals. Now, you got to figure out, what are your revenue goals? Now, my beautiful wife, we've teamed up together to create 5 kids, and my daughter's 20. And my daughter is 20 years old. She's 20. And she's like, Dad, if you were me, what would you do? I mean, would you pursue my career idea of becoming a dog breeding company? And I said, if I were you, I would pursue the career of being a dog breeder. And she says, but Dad, I've never done the dog breeding thing. I want to do the dog breeding thing, but I've never done that before. And I said, well, listen, don't worry about it. I work with dog breeders. Let me pull this up real quick here. And I've helped these people to become super successful. And I think what happens is people think that success maybe looks different than it looks. But this is a real human who's about, I think she's 30 years old, maybe 25, 26. She's been a client of ours for a long time. She works with one of our coaches. Listen to her story here. Here we go, folks.
Yeah, so my name's Kelsey Hershey, and my husband and I own Rockhaven Retrievers. We've been working with you guys for probably 8 or 9 months now, since last May, and it's been a great experience. So when we first started, leads was actually our biggest limiting factor. So we just, we were struggling to get some leads. We had great connections with people, but we were just hoping to grow a little more and a little faster than we were. So that was our biggest limiting factor. We've about doubled our leads.
Okay, and her company right here is Rockhaven Retrievers. So again, hopefully I'm making sense here. Step 1, we decide we're going to take action. My daughter says to me, Dad, I'm 20 years old. Do you think I should become a dog breeder? true story. And I'm going, oh yeah, you should become a dog breeder. She said, well, why? I said, well, step number one, I teach this, I live it, I'm telling you.
I know.
So I said, Havana, if you sell dog breeding, you can typically make a profit of around $1,000 to $1,500 per dog that you place. Profit. So Havana, you only need to do like 200 dogs a year that you breed or that you sell, and you're making doctor money. You're making like entry-level doctor money, and all you have to do is sell. And she says, do you have clients that do this? I go, I have clients that actually sell three times that much.
Right.
And she's going, huh? So step number one, you got to have a revenue goal. Step number two, you have to know your break-even point. So with that great customer we just shared with you, that story, Rockhaven, we know how many dogs they have to train per month to break even. They know that. There's a method to the madness. You have to know your break-even point. And so everybody out there, this is a client of mine. He has a gym. This is his Charles Colaw, Amber Colaw. They know you guys well. They've met you guys at workshops. They're great people. And I just interviewed them this week. They've been a client for 8 years.
One of our accountants had said, you've got to meet this guy, Clay. So we ended up meeting with Clay. And he's helped us go from right before we opened the third location now to 6 locations. And so why would their accountant refer them to me? It's because their accountant's going, hey guys, this just in. You got to know your break-even numbers. And now that their accountant's saying, we've got to move beyond where you are. And if you're going to have success, you need a coach. And they go, well, Mr. Accountant, could you help me? And the accountant says, that's not what I do. I just report the numbers. I don't help you get better numbers. And so that's where we came in. Now step number 3 here, we'll go through all these, is you have to define the hours per week you're willing to work. That goes back to our first step. You've got to decide to take action, but you also have to have boundaries. And so Rob, you and Mel, you're a married couple. You do the podcast together. You probably have boundaries on your schedule, Rob, of, maybe you're not going to record up until 3 a.m. every night. Maybe you do. I don't know. But you have sort of a schedule that you two as a couple have adhered to. Why is that important, Rob, for every entrepreneur watching this show to have a schedule that, that they have agreed on with their spouse, that they have some sort of boundaries with their schedule?
Could your health issues be caused by an invisible enemy? Fatigue, bloating, brain fog? What if parasites are the real culprit? I was digging into parasite cleanses when I came across this video from a trusted doctor.
What are the main differences between ivermectin and fenbendazole? These are 2 anti-pathogens used to treat parasitic infections and other similar types of conditions. They are used quite often in the oncology world to treat cancer. They both have as anti-pathogenic abilities.
Interesting, right? Did you know 50% of Americans have parasites? They are everywhere, in our food, water, and our pets. They secretly invade your body, wreaking havoc on your gut, energy levels, and even your brain. And the mainstream medical system, they don't want you thinking about this because one great cleanse can change your life. The Wellness Company has a solution for you. Ivermectin and mebendazole. Both FDA approved to treat parasites, now combined in a parasite cleanse combo that wipes out these invaders. Just fill out a brief medical intake form to get your 3-month supply today. Lots of parasite cleanses are all over social media, but not the gold standard. Maha is officially here, and the Wellness Company is making these hard-to-get medications digitally accessible so you can live your best life now. Head to twc.health/MelK. That's twchealth/MelK to save $60 off plus free shipping. Don't wait. Cleanse your body and take back control today.
Well, in order to achieve anything, you need to put a certain amount of energy into it. And the amount of energy you put into it is going to directly relate to what you can achieve. So, some people will work 24/7. If you're, 20 years old, and I used to do that. I used to get up at 3:30, 4:30 in the morning in Wall Street and work till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, sometimes entertaining all night and going back to the office. You can do that at 20. But at 60, maybe you want to do it a little differently. But you can always, improve the way you operate within the time, but you do have to know how much resources you're going to allocate to what you're doing.
But I think also boundaries, at least for us, because, you know, we're just the 5 of us here. We don't have like the big people coming to us. It's really about also knowing what to stop and knowing who is good at what and where, you know, what you deal with. Rob's good at the business. I'm good at the content and research. And we try to stay in our own lanes and, you know, have meetings and discuss what each other are doing and go through our list. But in the meantime, you know, then you have to be able to shut that off too and, you know, have a life. So it does matter to have a work life thing as well.
And this is so big. Now, again, folks, I'm just telling you, this is so big. Everybody out there, you can do this. I'm trying to take the woo-woo out of business and make it very specific. Now,
right.
Step number 4, you got to know your unique value proposition. So we go back to the fitness guys. This just in, Charles Kolaw is not the only guy in the history of America who had the idea that he should start a gym. Okay. So he and his wife, is a true story. They turned their house, just to be clear, a little context. They took a 1,500 square foot house and converted it into a gym. So like their living room, people are doing squats in the living room. Their kitchen, people are doing pull-ups in the living room. And you would say, what? True story. This is how they started Kolaw Fitness. Now, today, people walk into a Kolaw Fitness and they go, wow, this feels like a Chick-fil-A and a Planet Fitness came together. I mean, it's a really nice gym. They've got the 6 locations, and people marvel at the cleanliness and the quality of the business. But they had to start somewhere. And so you have to start with the tools you have. Going back to our first point, the time will never be just right. So it's not about resourcefulness. It's not about the resources. It's about resourcefulness. It's about your ability to take the tools you have. And in Charles' case, he and his wife, they said, you know what? We're going to turn our house into a gym. And as far as boundaries, according to Amber, his wife, who probably tells the more accurate story, she said he started training his first clients at 5 a.m. and his last client would leave at 8 p.m. And they did this 6 days a week. And that's how they started. Now, was that sustainable? No. Do they want to do that? No. But now they don't live like that. Now they have a very different lifestyle. So you have to define your unique value proposition. So Charles, his value proposition was this. If you come work at our house /gym, which, by the way, think about that for a second. Imagine you meet a man who says, do you want to work out at my house? I mean, think about how difficult of a pitch that would be, no matter where you are watching from right now. Imagine you said, a guy walks up to you at a grocery store and says, do you want to join my gym? And you go, kind of odd, but maybe. Where is it? In my house. I mean, what? I mean, it's not necessarily a recipe for success, but Charles said, here's the deal. This is how we do it. I guarantee you're going to get in the best shape of your life. And if you're not completely wowed after the first 30 days, money back guarantee. I mean, you're going to love this. And so people were going, where's the gym? He says, at my house. They go, where's your house? He's like, in a neighborhood in Bartlesville. And people are going, what? But one by one, people at work, they you know, your coworkers start to notice, wow, you've lost weight. People at the wedding, people at the birthday, they go, wow, you're looking good. All of a sudden, people are walking billboards, and then they were able to take their savings and open up a gym and a shopping center. So again, you've got to be able to start somewhere. It's not going to be an ideal situation. There's no perfect situation, but you got to start. Now, step number 5, Charles knew this. He said, Clay, I need help branding my company. If I'm going to be a startup or a small company, I can't look like I'm a startup or a small company. And that's where we came in with Papa Gallo's, the pizza business. You know, although they don't have the budget of Domino's or Pizza Hut or some big brand, they needed to look like that. And so we teamed up with them from the very beginning to help them build this beautiful looking website. You think about OxyFresh now, people know they have 500 locations. What a lot of people don't know is that we work with brands like this to help them build their brands behind the scenes. And Mel, we charge people $1,700 a month. So it's like you're hiring a minimum wage employee to do all this for you. And the branding thing, I want to get your wisdom on this, Mel. Branding is a big thing because you come from Hollywood. You know it. If you throw a certain star on the lineup, people will come up and see. People want to see the show because DiCaprio's in it, whether we like him or not. People want to see the show because Tom Hanks is in it, whether you like it or not. People buy a book based upon the cover, whether they should or not. Branding is a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually worked in I always had other jobs because I'm also a writer. So you kind of need to when you want to be a writer professionally in Hollywood, you got to do other things. And I did independent film marketing all over the world, and you'd be surprised things that the way you'd market in America is not the way you'd market the same exact movie in Japan, or the way you'd market the same movie in South America. So you have to also figure out who's your audience, what will get them to come to the store or come to the business, what is unique about you, and then you have to make sure, I think you have to make it across all platforms and everywhere kind of matched
Consistency.
and consistent, so that people identify you and your brand. Just they hear the name and they know exactly what it looks like, what it is, and all that. And I think it's about consistency, and also investing your heart and authenticity into your brand to make it unique.
Rob, imagine you lived in Tulsa, and I know you don't, but imagine you did, Rob. If you moved here, I'm trying to get you to move to Tulsa. I know you don't.
I have visited.
We have always thought that if we have our go bags ready, and if all else failed, we would be going to Tulsa
Rob,
to live in a tent in your backyard.
I'm going to give you a commercial here, Rob. So here we go. This is my commercial for Oklahoma. I have a haircut chain that I started. We have, 4 locations, and I just want to show people this real quick. So if you're in Tulsa and you're about 16th in Boston, we call that South Boston, 16th South Boston. That's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And for anybody who lives, it's like on the outskirts, the very edge of downtown. So if you go to this area, it's like you just finished work and you're on your way out. So downtown is here. Here's all the big buildings, but on the way out of downtown, that's where you run into my store, my downtown store. And you go into the store and you've never been there before, and you see the signs that say elephant in the room. You see the signage. So this is our store. Here we go. I'm making my way down here. This is my store. Next to us, there's a bar. There's a restaurant. Here we go. Here we go. So this is my store, elephant in the room. So you go in here. And if you've never been to Elephant in the Room before, that's fine. But people show up and they go, how does it work? The first haircut is $1. Can you please explain this to me? Now you walk in, it kind of feels, I've designed each one of these stores to feel like a man cave. Men love coming here. They go, men like the energy. They like the lobby. They like the vibe. They like the way it looks. Guys are into it. So we've designed it to be a place that's very man-centric. This is kind of the vibe. People like it, okay? And we got great music playing. And it's $1 for your first haircut. And then people say, well, if I become a member of your haircut business, what does that mean? And I say, well, you're basically prepaying for your next haircut at a discount, and you become a member. So basically, if you come in 7 times a year, you come out ahead, So if you're getting a monthly haircut, on your 7th haircut, you're coming out ahead. And it's month to month. We offer a hot towel treatment. We do a hot towel treatment. We do paraffin hand dip. We do nape shaves. We do a style. We do a consultation. The shampoo room's incredible. You're going to love it. But in addition to it, if you are a member, you can come to our business workshops where we're going to bring in people like Tim Tebow, people like Eric Trump, and you get preferential seating. And they go, what? You're a hair business. What now? And it blows their minds every time to discover. And we go, oh, by the way, you have a chance to win a trip to Hawaii too if you become a member. And they go, what now? There's just a lot there. They go, tell me again. So I'll pull it up. We say, listen, you get a chance to win a trip to Hawaii, and you get discounts on hair services. And so, this is the winner of the trip to Hawaii. Here he is. He's coming in here.
Hi, I'm Carly. Hi, good to meet you.
He thinks he's coming in to get a TV, by the way. He thinks he won a TV. Here we go.
Hi, are you Brian?
Yeah. He's coming in.
Hi, good to meet you. Go ahead and follow me this way, and we'll give you your TV.
He thinks he's won a TV. He's never been to our corporate office before. Okay, so he's a little bit. Here we go.
Yep. And that's the office, folks. It's pretty cool.
Oh, he's loving it. He's excited. All the employees are cheering. Anyway, so then we do an exit interview, and he's kind of he's a really sincere guy. There he is. He's telling us how he and his wife, he doesn't know the last time they went on a vacation. This is a life-changing
Trip
thing
to Hawaii?
Never in my life.
Never in your life. And have you ever been to Hawaii before?
No, ma'am.
No? How excited are you?
I can't even describe.
And he's so fired up. He and his wife and their kids are going. And what does this have to do with anything? I'm telling you, your branding, you've got to come up with a wow factor. If you don't wow, people are not going to refer you. Now, this guy became a viral marketing machine for the business. He's so impressed with the staff. He loves the service, the service. I've thought through it though. The music, the sights, the smell, the eucalyptus smell in the shampoo room, all of it. Every detail. So the branding, that's step number 5. Step number 6, you've got to have a way to market. You've got to have a way to generate customers. How do you generate leads? In a very competitive world where you're not the only gym in America, in a very competitive world where you're not the only cleaning service in America, how do you generate leads? And I would argue that a lot of people, we struggle by default to generate leads. So here's somebody who once struggled with leads. Now she doesn't. We met her on the Reawaken America tour. Her name is Jennifer. She has a company called Beloved Cheesecakes. I'll pull it up real quick here. And she is doing great now. But when I met her, she had great cheesecakes, but no customers. And so this is her story. Here we go, folks.
Well, I can say just from this last January to last January, if you just took that month with our online shipping orders, we grew 240%. I would say 2 things, and you did not pay me at all to say this, but I would definitely go to one of your conferences, because what I tell people, it's not a motivational conference, it's an action-packed conference, and you're going to learn the steps to grow your business and scale it if you want.
That's her business.
If your mom has a sweet tooth, you might want to listen up.
That's her in Oregon. Now the local media is covering her.
Talked to an Albany-based cheesecake
Now she's on TV.
An inspirational story and some delicious decadent cakes.
Now she's on the media. Anyway, so now she's on the media. Now she's like a success story. But people, so this is principle number 2 I want to teach. Step number 1, you got to determine to act now. You must act now. Step number 2, you got to master the messy middle. You have to master the messy middle. And that's all this stuff. Yeah. And nobody wants to talk about this stuff. Nobody wants to talk about the messy middle. And that's what point 7 is. You've got to create sales scripts, recorded calls for quality assurance. You've got to create print pieces, menus, internal marketing, external marketing, billboards, flyers, lead tracking systems. And when you learn all this, it can be overwhelming. And that's what we do is we guide you down a proven path. And I'm telling you, Mel, when you come to these workshops, when you're in a room with 250 real Main Street entrepreneurs, people that came from nothing, who are now something, it fills you with hope. It fills you with energy. It fills you with this belief that you can do it. There was a business owner who I'm not allowed to share the name of their company, but they're based in Staten Island, and they're in that spa kind of niche. And he came to our conference and he was just getting his tail kicked by the market. Big companies are dominating that small island called Staten Island right there in New York. And he was on the verge of shutting down the store. And he came to the conference. He calls me 5 months later. He says, Clay, we're almost doubling the amount of leads that we're getting now. And I just want to tell you what a lifeline that conference was. And he's like, I don't know if it's the people I was sitting next to. I don't know if it's the information you were providing. I don't know if it's the workbook I got, but I came back. I told my team, here's the plan. We're going to do it, and we're doing it. And I just wanted you to know. And I said, would you hop on this show? Could you be a success story? He says, absolutely not. I know my competition's watching. I can't share my secrets. So, but Rob, I mean, this is the kind of thing you could come to a workshop, have your whole life changed. And just like the Reawaken America tour, I've always done it. It's $250. Or whatever price you want to pay. And we're going to bring in Tim Tebow. We're going to bring in Eric Trump. We're going to bring in real entrepreneurs. It is a proven super move. And Rob, I'm sure you've spent some money on business courses in the past, but for $250 or whatever price you want to pay, I don't think there's a hotter deal out there.
You know, I've dealt with a lot of types of consultants, and often you find consultants and that's their main business of consulting your main business is getting things done. And, I've seen it over and over and over again. You are an operator, and you're all about action. You're not about teaching other people to do it, but you are in that business, and it does. No, my
doesn't do it for them.
my point is that a lot of people that are in the business of teaching only know how to teach.
Right,
they don't
true.
know how to do. And what you do is you know how to do, and you've proven that over and over and over again. I was struck by the elephant in the room. I wanted to make a few comments on that. And so number one is, when you drive by that, I'm thinking, like, what is the elephant in the room, right? And that's kind of interesting. That's branding. The other thing that is that, it's all about lead generation. And why do you give away your haircut? Because you know that it costs you, more. You'll convert more at $1 than you will at $15 every month. And people are going to walk in. You're generating leads. Whatever it is, there's a unique way to kind of tell that story and execute. And I think what you do on a very personal level through these systems and your particular expertise and knowledge is you figure that out and you help people execute.
Yeah, I also want to say something about your conferences, but also about what you do. It's like having a business manager, a coach, a cheerleader, and a guide. It's really, it's worth every second.
You have the execution team in-house.
The conferences, here's the thing about your conferences, is that there's such energy in that room. People make friends for life. People share information. They network together. When you leave one of your conferences, your Thrive business conferences, these people also come out of there with a network of other people. And that's a great thing too, because it's so friendly. It's so fun. You eat together, you chat together, you have entertainment because you're entertaining. And honestly, you leave with a network, and you know what? People come back over and over because they want to get into this space, get that good energy going, and continue the networking. So there's multiple options you walk away with that you have in your arsenal that you didn't have when you went there, including how to scale your business and do all that. But there's also a whole community that is built at Thrive Time Studios when you go to these events.
But it only happens with action, action, action. And I think what you do is you lay out easy ways for people to take that first step.
This is very interesting story. One of my clients, I want to put his face on the screen, but I can't do it. Okay. Cause I promised him I wouldn't. He and his wife have 7 kids. I've worked with him since he had no kids. Okay. The top level insurance guy. And every week he comes to me, our weekly coaching meetings. We have a weekly coaching meeting every week. And by the way, he's a very measured family guy. So he's not going to be the guy staying there till 10 o'clock at night. He's not the guy getting up at 3 a.m. He's just going to follow the system. And we first started working with him. We were going through these systems and he says, hey, listen, I will follow any system off a cliff, but I'm not going to work after this time or before this time because I really want to start a family. My wife and I are committed to that. He has 7 kids now. So as we're rehashing these and recapping these, we figured out his revenue goals, and it might seem crazy and impossible, but he said, listen, I need to get 2,000 customers, 2,000 insurance clients that pay me and residually use me, life insurance, home insurance, auto insurance. I need 2,000 customers. And I go, well, where are you at now? He says, cold start, starting it up, getting her going. I got a license. So there's somebody out there who can identify with this. I said, well, what are your break-even numbers? He says, well, I got to sell X number of policies. I said, how many hours are you willing to work? He said, I will work uninterrupted like a laser beam, 9 to 5, but that's all I'm going to give you. I can't do more than that. If that's a problem, I get it. I said, well, what do you do that separates you? He says, well, I'm part of a franchise, so I cannot change anything about my website, my logo, my print pieces, anything. I said, that's fair. What about your branding? He says, can't change it. I said, marketing. Are you able to implement the strategy? He said, what's the strategy? I walked him through the plan. He said, I could do that. And so I just talked to him yesterday. True story. This guy's the most successful agent in the region. He's absolutely dominating, but he needed somebody to push him. And Rob, you mentioned the name elephant in the room. I named the elephant in the room for 2 reasons. I think the elephant in the room is when a guy has a bad haircut, everyone notices and no one wants to say anything. So I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that happened to us
but I mean, it's where someone's got, you go, wow. And then the second elephant in the room, I think, is a lot of people, we don't know as a culture how to have success. And so we just watch other people having success and we don't know how to do it. So I thought I'll call it elephant in the room, and people will ask me, what does it mean? And I will say, well, the elephant in the room is if you have a bad haircut, everybody knows, and no one wants to talk about it. Second is having success is not normal. And if you're an elephant in the room member, we're going to help you have a great haircut, but we're also going to coach you down the path to success if you want to. We do workshops and they go, really? And we actually give people books in the store. You come in for your haircut, you leave with a free book. I mean, people are going, what? I mean, so it's a whole thing. We offer a hot towel, a beverage, shampoo, and they go, so it's life-changing haircuts, which it's again, but it creates, so I'm working with this insurance guy. And I said, listen, this is just one of the moves, by the way. I said, listen, people would rather go to a dentist than get an insurance quote, correct? And he goes, true. I said, so why don't you just tell people, it's in the state of Oklahoma, you can do this. Other states, it's different limits. But I said, just tell people that you will literally pay them $20 cash to take 10 minutes to compare rates. And if you can't save them money, you'll give them another $10. And he's like, are you serious? This is actually what you'll do? I said, yes. So he's sitting down now at the same networking events he was already doing, the same networking events he was already participating in, the same cold calls he was already doing. But he says, hey, Rob, here's the deal. I know most people would rather go to a dentist than to compare rates. So I'm going to pay you $20 of cash to compare rates. And in the event that I can't save you money, I'm going to pay you another $10. And the reason why we came up with that is I said, listen, you're paying $30 and you know, and I know you're going to convert 1 out of 3. And if you convert 1 out of 3, the one that signs up is going to pay you $1,000 commission. So just do that deal all day. You're paying $90. You're paying $30, $20 to compare rates, 10 if we can't save you money. 1 out of 3 converts into a client. It costs you $90 and you get one client, $1,000 of income. This is step number 8. It's called the sustainable customer acquisition cost.
Right.
And he goes, this is amazing. So the second week, third week, fourth week, he says, Clay, I'm spending $90 paying random people that I was already meeting before. And rather than people saying, yeah, I'll get back with you, insurance guy. Now they're going, hey, let's do it now. I mean, let's compare now. Let's go. I got time. Let's go. And now he's known as like this guy who he'll compare rates with you right at the trade show, right there over the phone. And people are taking action. Like Rob said, it's all about that action and it's getting people unstuck. Step number 9, this guy, and I want to share with you his story. He is so busy right now. Maybe I'll just share a little sneak peek of something so we can kind of hint at who he is and what he is without really getting into the details. He now has so many people that are working for him that he has scripts, systems. He has stand-up desks. He's got this whole energy. Let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play part of it. Let me just kind of scoot over here. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to try to hide the identity of this person. Let me see if I can do it. Okay. I think I'm getting it done here. Okay. So, okay. So if you look here, look at the energy of the office now. Look at the energy. So this is his office now. He's got reps on the phone. Look at this. These people are on the phone. Everybody's on the phone making the pitch. Look how many people work here now. Look at people are having a good time.
Oh, wow, that's great.
It's crazy. And this is just a rando insurance guy whose business was stuck. He's killing the game. What am I saying? I'm saying if you're watching today's show and you need a checkup from the neck up, you want to have success, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. You go there, you say, Clay, when's Eric Trump speaking? When's Tim Tebow speaking? You can do that too. Get your tickets, thrivetimeshow.com. Someone says, what does it cost? $250 or whatever price you want to pay. People say, how do you make any money if you let me name my price? I'm not an idiot. How does that work? We do no upsells. There's no upselling, but my average client is with us for 6 to 7 years.
Yep.
So these guys here, the co-laws, they've been clients for 8 years. So what I want to do is I want you to come into one accord, a common union, come to our event, learn how to grow a successful company. And then if you want to become a coaching client, great. If you don't, great. But Rob, you've seen it. Everybody out there, I'm just trying to instill faith in every single person watching this show that you don't have to be some unicorn, viral TikTok blogger guy to be successful. You just have to be willing to implement these systems. And Rob, this is the messy middle. So teaching moment number 1, you got to act now. Teaching moment number 2, you got to master the messy middle. It can't be a thing where you're the vision's your deal, but you're not going to sit down and write the script. You can't be the vision's your deal, but you're not willing to put in the work. If you want to become successful, You can do it, but nothing works unless you do. And Rob, I know there's somebody watching today's show right now that we're speaking to, and it's going to change their life.
Yeah. And also, I want to mention, because of what I just reported this morning on my live stream about some of the things Trump's doing financially, because actually MAGA was always about economically taking America back to its greatness. And I believe that is going to happen after this restructuring. And all the people out there have to understand, we're going to bring back manufacturing. We're going to bring back the main streets in America. We're going to bring back farming. We're going to bring back, entertainment and theaters. There's just so much opportunity that will be coming down the pike in about 5-6 months. We got to deal with the restructuring, but you know what? Small businesses are going to thrive. This is what this is about. He's taking it back to the workers, to Main Street, to all the people that got decimated during the pandemic. Lots of small businesses died, lots of middle class. Well, it's coming back. So if you had a dream, a hobby, you gave something up, you went to raise your kids and now you're bored and you're looking for something, think about it. Go inside, write down, and it's all in my book too. Write down, journal. Like, what do you want your future to look like? What does that look like specifically? And if it has a business in it or an idea you want to turn into a business, now is the time to jump on it. There's going to be lots of opportunity. There's going to be a lot more ability to fund things the proper way with real money and real customers and all of that. This is really a great time to be alive. If you're an entrepreneur or you're entrepreneurial or you're an artist or whatever you are, now is the time. And to get a coach for this kind of money, that they're helping you with your website, with your marketing, with your, he has a whole team there that can do anything. And then you can network at the events. It is just such a bargain and such a gift, what you give people. And I've seen so many people literally become like making hundreds of thousands of dollars who literally were working for somebody else, miserable, doing a job they hated, and turn their dreams into action because of you. So I really want people to know that this is about you. This is about what you want with your life. And to me, Clay is the best person for me personally. When I'm stuck, I call Clay for a attitude adjustment, because nobody does it better. But coaching and, being a business manager, giving ideas and then helping you create them takes away that border between you and the overwhelming idea that it's too much. Well, it's broken down so simply through Clay. And then the coaching aspect I love. So, and I know people you coach that have done incredibly well and will stay with you because they need that. They need that extra, how am I doing? And when you have questions, like we have therapists for people, we don't have many therapists for businesses.
Well, let's talk about the therapy thing for a second. This is big. This is a true story. With all the clients we work with, we have a weekly meeting so people understand the mechanics. But you can call whenever you want at no additional cost. We are the only coaching service I've ever heard of that doesn't charge per call, per email, per hour. It's just so I am talking to a guy tomorrow. True story. This will be my third coaching call with this guy this week. And it's not because he's an idiot. It's because his success is coming at him like a fire hose. And there's so much we have to do right now. It's very critical to get the firm foundation. But this is the kind of guy, Charles Kolaw, 8 years into our program. Listen to this, folks.
For example, Clay has got, there's no better business coach in the world that has the way he works, the way his mind works, but he's also got a team of other business coaches that have worked in lots of different industries. So he's worked in every industry. His staff has worked in every industry. He's got videographers, web designers. I mean, just for the fact of like, just the website alone is worth the $1,700. Just the ability to take any of their proven systems, whether that's a marketing thing or whether that's a staffing thing, like one thing done in the month it pays for itself. And then to understand this, there's a part of where, some week you may be like, well, you know what? I'm not getting a whole lot out of this call. But the bottom line is, it's like when you read the Bible, there's times you're just reading it and then you're like, you know what? And then you read it that one time and it's like, God really speaks to your heart. And the whole truth is, it's like, there's no way that you can get that kind of value for $1,700 to have a whole team of coaches, graphic designers, web developers, anybody that has that type of knowledge, in your back pocket. And then and the whole thing is run your business with being somewhat conservative. Make sure you don't run it to the edge all the time. But by doing that, you have that skill set. You have those tools on your tool belt. Yeah. And I just think it's just like the cost of doing business. Like just understand it. That's what I think
there's sometimes the payment we make, I feel like, is peace of mind. even, because there have been multiple times throughout the years that we will either be butting heads on something. We're super confused about something. We're fearful about something. Something in the market's changed, and it's a quick call to Clay.
These guys have been clients for 8 years, and I'm just telling somebody out there, you too can have massive success. Step number 11, 12, and 13, for sake of time here, you got to create a sustainable weekly schedule. We touched on that earlier. Step number 12, you got to have a system to hire people. I mean, I'm not working with solopreneurs. Most of my clients, they start off with 1 or 2 employees or their startup, and then they grow to have hundreds of employees. One of my clients, Kevin Thomas. Kevin is hilarious. I'm going to pull up Kevin. Kevin's hilarious because he's one of the most successful people in every room, but he refuses to acknowledge how successful he is. And so at conferences, he'll be sitting next to someone and they'll say, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I have a cleaning company." And you go, "What kind of cleaning companies?" We clean some stuff. And they go, "Well, how big is it?" Listen to this, folks.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times.
He has 300 employees. Now, just to put this in context, okay, every employee who works for him generates him a rough profit of at least $10 an hour every hour. And there's 300 of them. Yep. Somebody out there with a calculator, do the math. And this guy, so he's at the last conference, he's sitting next to somebody. And I don't think people recognized how successful he is. And he doesn't talk about it. And this lady comes up to me, she goes, "Does that guy sitting next to me, does he actually have 300 employees?" I said, "Well, it's probably more than that." She goes, "Does he make any money?" I go, "No, it's a cleaning service." And he's done the math and the unit economics we've helped him create. He makes about $10 per hour per employee, and there's 300 of them, and there's 10 hours in a typical workday at his business. And they go, "Does he make like $3,000 an hour?" I go, "Well," and she's doing the math, and she's just like, and again, that's the kind of guy who's having mega success as a result of implementing these systems. There's nobody out there. You don't have to be viral. You don't have to have a symmetrical cranium. You don't have to be a model. You don't have to be an actor. You don't have to be silver spoon. You don't have to be super well connected. You just have to be willing to put in the work. And Kevin is absolutely an example of what success looks like. Final 2 steps here. We're going to help you with all this. So if you've never hired an employee, or if you have a team of people that make you crazy, we'll teach you how to fix that. Okay. Step number 13, you got to do accounting. Yeah. Oh, man, people don't want to talk about accounting, but accounting is simply, are you getting closer or further away from your goals? And we'll work with you on that. And then box number 14, it's not therapy, but I call it life optimization maybe. Yeah. And all I do with every client every week is I'm just asking, is there anything in your life or business right now that's making you crazy? Because if it is, let's fix it. And so when you have somebody who actually cares about optimizing your quality of life every week, after a year of that, you start to go, wow, things are a lot better. So as an example with the co-laws, they started this business in their gym. They grew it in their living room. They grew this gym in their living room. It became huge. And during one of our calls, I said, "Guys, it seems to me as though you have a successful company now. You're thriving, multiple locations. Who maintains your massive house?" And they're going, "Well, we do." And I'm going, after you work like that, just a thought, I give you permission to hire someone to maintain that thing. And they're going, "We should." Well, now, I mean, they no longer mess with those tedious things. They focus on growing their company. They now have an assistant who comes in and helps organize their house and their home. And there's so many cool things that they've implemented. They didn't start there, but now they've really got it smoothed out where their schedule is optimized. They're doing great. And so closing thoughts, if you're out there today and you say, "You know what? I want to become successful." If you're watching this show saying, "I want to be depressed," don't call me. But if you want to become successful, just go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. Tim Tebow, Eric Trump, our speakers at our events. We have wonderful people in attendance, many of which you've seen at the Reawaken America Tour. It's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And if you'll use promo code MELK, Someone says, "How does that work?" If you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you request a ticket, we're going to call you and we're going to say, "How did you hear about us?" So when you say Mel K, you're entered in for a chance to win a backstage pass. And at these particular events, we do dinner at my house. Yeah. So you'll be able to have dinner or have a meal or be able to go into the VIP area and meet Eric Trump or meet a Tim Tebow. And that's a select thing we do. Very few people win that. So if you want to claim your tickets, by the way, We only have 300 people in attendance. So you have like a 1 out of 300 chance to win a backstage pass. So I would use promo code MELK. Go to thrivetimeshow.com and get those tickets. But a lot of information. Hopefully that's helpful there, Mel and Rob.
Well, we can use it too, I have to be honest. So, and I saw my good friend Dr. Stella's going, and I love Amanda Grace and Alina Haba. So Rob and I are trying to figure out how we can join too, because we could use some help. And I want to tell people for real, Rob and I have a similar situation to the Colas that happens because we're in business together, and we always call you first. When we have problems, we always call you first in real life too. That you've been incredibly helpful, and you really, without you, we probably would never have figured out how to monetize the podcast, which you do at the podcast events too, which are awesome. But it's all along the same lines of action, 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 having the tools, knowing the systems, putting them to work, and then you're the best coach and cheerleader anyone could ever have. And at the same time, I also want to say I have friends that are power washers, home cleaners, chefs. Want to start their own business. There's so many opportunities that are coming. So whatever it is you do, and my mentor in my career always said, dreams don't have expiration dates. So if you've been thinking about something for years, well, the golden age is ahead. Take advantage of it and jump in. Go to thrivetime.com and tell them Mel K sent you. And we're going to try to figure out how to be at that conference too. So we'll let y'all know.
And I just want to say, yeah,
sure, if you guys are coming, I'm going to add you to that flyer, because I'm going to put you to work, Mel. You're not going to just show up here and not grace us with some of your wisdom. So I will put you on that flyer. Don't threaten me, Mel. Sorry.
Only if I can have dinner with your family.
Absolutely.
I wanted to say, it's sometimes it's hard to figure out who you want to work with. I can tell you, having spent, the better part of maybe 4+ years in the trenches with you through many ups and downs, that kind of integrity and that what you bring to the table is something that is really important to us and our audience, which is that the integrity and the commitment to a certain values and people might ask, well, why are we kind of bringing the show to the table? Because Mel always talks about empowering yourself, personal sovereignty, taking care of yourself, and this is what we're about. We happen to have stumbled upon one of the greatest people that can help do that, and we want to bring that to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. The Mel K Show would not be the Mel K Show without Clay Clark. So even if you're thinking of doing something like this, whatever it is, go to Thrive Time right now, and we will be joining that conference. So you can tell them Mel K sent you, and then you put then you'll meet me and Rob.
I'm adding you to the flyer. I'm putting it on my to-do list right here.
Yeah.
Mel K.
Oh my God. You should see his
do the flyer.
list.
Oh God, you're the best. And the guy doesn't sleep. He's like, you think Trump doesn't sleep. Clay's always working and always available. And I'm very grateful to you for our success. So we love you. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for coming on
everyone.
and empowering people to empower themselves with information.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and people that parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. You know, things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, well, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 in the morning. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. You know, this is the creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed, and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group I was so impressed because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay. And what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
My name is Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call, and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual, and we picked it up, and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to like 100% growth. Like we're like a full functioning company. It's great. Like we're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls, we've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant like cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly encouraging all the time. And he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive. But I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or what was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business, or was that something that you were maybe excited about, or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're going to fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa.